Welcome to the garage sale preview. What's happening? Okay, we've got our second garage sale of the year coming up shortly. It's always right around Remembrance Day. This year it is November 4th to November the 10th. Naoto-san just came back from Japan. Kevin-san is in Japan. We have lots of stuff to show you and tell you about. We are even waiting for some handles to arrive so we can complete some of the knives. I'm sure Kevin's gonna show up with some boxes of some cool stuff, last minute edition style. So this might be a really exciting garage sale.
Every time we go to Japan, we visit those different knife makers and blacksmiths and finding things that they've been working on, including something like super cool one-off, hand-folded Damascus, as well as very good, reasonably priced lines. And we bring all together for this garage sale.
It is a wicked time to find cool stuff and get some good deals. November is always a great time leading up to Christmas to get a couple gifts ready for people. Fun, exciting times. There is no garage involved, and there is some really wicked deals. Today we're going to give you a bit of a snippet of what we've got, some of the newest and coolest stuff. If you want to see the full catalog, tune in this Friday to our YouTube live stream. What time is it at?
November 1st, noon, Mountain Time.
And now for something completely different. Sometimes you buy too many knives, but you've never bought a handmade, hand-forged Japanese crowbar before, have you? Look at this guy. Look, you can see the lines as they bend around. It is a beast. This is made by Wakui. We've been bringing Wakui knives in for a little while. He shifted from making things like crowbars. Their family's history is making things like pry bars and crowbars. He went and learned from Yoshikane, has started making some knives. They're absolutely excellent knives, but we did get a bunch of crowbars in because it seemed rude not to have a couple. And like a lot of Japanese things that I've found is while it is a crowbar and looks and feels like one, it just feels like a better version of them. And you just see the tolerances are a little better, the details are just a little bit closer. I don't know, I need something to break now.
And we had some requests from the customers who is admired by the work of Wakui-san's knives.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it.
So let's talk about knives. Tell us something, what's fun and exciting for you? What are you jazzed about for this sale?
I just came back from Japan.
Yeah.
Went to visit so many different knife makers and blacksmith. One of whom was this Manaka-san.
You got to go hang out with Manakas-san.
Yeah, that was the first place I went to visit. Manaka-san's place. It's not because he lives a little bit closer to Tokyo, but I decided to go visit him because his workshop had a little tragic accident.
Earlier this year, some tragedy struck in Japan at Manakas Workshop. It went up in flames, as did a good chunk of his home that was attached to it. We had the opportunity, along with you, our customers, to help raise some money. Our whole community of people who are into Japanese kitchen knives raised around 70,000 Canadian dollars through an initiative we did with sharpening at our stores. We raised over 30 to contribute to that to help Manaka just rebuild. So really happy to hear that you went to go and see Manaka-san. What happened? What did you see? What's it like there?
So it's still a long way to go for him to rebuild, but he is very hopeful. He has been talking with some of the blacksmith in different regions as well, and the blacksmith community is really, really helpful.
That's awesome.
He should be back in business, hopefully sometime next year. We're pretty happy. I mean, we actually got one of the last batches of his knives before that the fire. So we have these knives from him.
Stunning.
That's the
stunning. Look at that.
Especially his N series.
So these are the Koku N, right? ENN?
These are Koku Ns. These are N. So this one particular is an N with the tsuchime on them. And we have these, everything's been kind of polished off. These are Koku Ns. We have several of these shapes, including the super long Sekimaru Sujihikis.
Oh, really?
With the handles. We were waiting on the handles to come.
So something important to tell you this year about these really cool and unique things. In the past, items were not held in the cart and you had to run to the checkout to get the knife. and it could get swooped out from underneath you. This year, for the first time, we've got it figured out that you can hold stuff in your cart for 3 minutes. That means you've got a bit of breathing room. Once you get something, you can go back and get your blade guard and your honing rod and maybe whatever else you want to get, a knife bag or another knife, whatever it is, and then check out. You get something in your cart, it will be held for 3 minutes. After that, it goes back to other people can buy it. So that's a fun thing to know about this year. I love knives based off of the purpose because I love cooking. And first and foremost, I see this beautiful knife here that I believe it looks very much like a Saji to me, that has a very, very cool handle, but also is this really wicked shape. And it's sort of like a tall Sushi with this curved tip. To me, this looks like a knife that I want to cut steak. This is a really nice size and weight that it will allow the momentum to just drag through it and cut portions of stuff. I could cut onions with this though too, because it's like tall enough I'm not gonna bash my knuckles. It's got really wicked texturing on the Damascus on the outside. I think this is actually a beautiful knife. Tell me more about it. It is Saji, right?
It's a Saji.
Okay.
It's a SG2 in the core with the beautiful Damascus on the outside. He calls it still a Sakimaru Sujihiki. Sakimaru means it's that the tip sweeps up like that.
Something else that I see that I think is really cool is I've had the chance to go to Japan a few times, sometimes with you, sometimes with Kevin. And one thing that stands out to me is this Moritaka Yodeba. And why this stands out to me, I love Moritaka. I love the family, I love their knives. But this knife, this is what they use in their kitchen in their house. They've got this Yodeba, so it's a Western style deba, which means it's not single bevel, it's double, but it's just a big, chunky deba. It's like a bit of a santoku. You can do fish, you can do meat, you know, all kinds of stuff. But it's just such a cool knife. This here with the gold sticker means it's Aogami Super. Of course, Moritakas are clad with iron. No stainless steel anywhere near here, but this is a hearty knife. And I think Moritakas have so much heart and so much soul that I think this is such a fun knife.
We haven't had this shape from Moritaka for a very long time, right? So it's like pretty excited to see this back.
Okay, could you tell me about this knife? I think I've seen this before, but I'm not too sure what its purpose is.
Garage sale is this very fun time of the year to bring some weird shapes. This particular one is they call it Sushi Kiri. Everyone knows what the sushi is.
Oh, I know what this is, yeah.
But the kiri is to cut. But this particular knife is designed to cut the sushi rolls.
So like the maki rolls.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they used a little bit more rocking technique. Often this is used in the more production setting than the, say, smaller sushi shops. It's more like markets, or they have to make a whole bunch of rolls. Maybe like a kinjo style. Maybe kinjo, the Japanese restaurant here in local, they produce a lot of maki rolls. They probably need something like this to cut the rolls with. It makes it more efficient. This is super cool shape, super nice and thin. It's got a little rock to it. It is pretty thick on the spine, but it's very thin behind the edge, right? This is just a good rocking Nakiri.
I was just gonna say that. If you have ever looked at an Akiri and thought, I get it, but I don't like that dumb edge because it's perfectly straight, I want the most rocker I could ever have on a knife, this thing would be it. I mean, what you could do with a cabbage, wow.
Right? It's like...
Show us a smoking deal, and I know the smoking deal, and I think this looks really cool. What is going on with this guy? It's very light.
So, this one here is from the Skki Kanetsugu, who
cool.
makes the knives like a Zuiwon with SG2 with beautiful Damascus, or we carry something like, they call it heptagon wood handle. It's the VG10 with a really nice thin edge. This is their kind of like, it's weird sometimes, like they call it for home use. I mean, it's not limited to, but it is very good, inexpensive, affordable, and cheerful. Edge is pretty good, nice and thin, nothing fancy.
This to me looks like just a really great normal Japanese knife. They're so light and so thin. Their bevel is really nice on them, right? I kind of like the handle. I think it's a great little knife.
It's great for, especially for people who's never had a Japanese knife. For stainless steel, it cuts really, really good. Price is really, really, really good as well. So,
well, and sometimes you get into buying all these really cool Japanese knives. Maybe you have someone coming over your house and they're gonna do some stuff in the kitchen with you, and maybe you're not sure if you want to give them your finest Japanese knife. This is what I call a decoy. You can hand them this very cool, authentic Japanese knife, and they get to work with it, and it's awesome, right? And if you need a knife to use when you go to a backyard barbecue, you could take this with you. Like, what a great knife. Yeah.
Well, talking about deals, so we have these Tsunehisa sale happening.
So the Tsunehisas, did you just say the 20% off?
So all the Tsunehisa branded knives are 20% off. Tsunehisa keeps adding some knives into their collection as well. So Tsunehisa, we have this new
This
line.
is really nice.
So this one here is the, we call it the Tsunehisa Sanjuichi, meaning Sanjuichi, 31. We just numbered them. Made of 440C, stainless steel in a core, and the stainless steel, Damascus on the outside. It's got a really nice tsuchime slash like nashiji pattern to it. It's really well made, super nice thin edge, looks pretty, and it's a smoking deal. 20% off.
Tsunehisa knives are great. Some of us who get real deep into Japanese knives will find ourselves attracted to the story, the steel, the techniques. And that's not what everyone needs or wants. I think Tsunehisa are great if you're trying to get someone into Japanese knives. You know, someone that people who are using spatulas to cut through food, right? And you want to just upgrade their kitchen and do them a favor. The Tsunehisa line is really awesome. Frankly, a Tsunehisa knife is probably better than what most people will ever own in their kitchen. And 20% off makes them a really wicked price.
Like this is also the new line from Tsunehisa. It's basically made with the mono steel AS8. It's really nice stainless steel.
Oh wow, nice. I find mono steel AUS8 kind of knives, they don't hold their edge in the crazy way that we get used to, but they're really durable. They're really easy to put an edge back onto. And like for a knife to put into service, like that's a great choice. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
It's just maybe not as exciting as some of the other things. So stay tuned. The Tsunehisa knives are going to be 20% off for the garage sale. We're also going to have some other cool stuff, some cookware, and a bunch of other things that are going to be on 20% off. Putting the sale in the garage sale. What now? Okay, elephant in the room time. What is this? What is that? What is that? What are those? What's this thing with a whale on it? Oh, let's start with the whale.
Alrighty.
Sorry.
Okay, I have to start with the whale. So
that is a 240 Deba.
240 Deba. It's really great. The doing a lot of tuna and stuff like that. But this particular one is not really. Well, we can talk about a function, but it's more of on a thing that's on the blade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what you're suggesting is maybe it's the artwork that's on the front of the blade that someone has intricately carved into the face of the blade, a humpback whale.
By hand.
By hand, yeah. This is like a sculpture.
This is done by a Kubota Michiko-san, or Michiko Kubota-san, from Sakai Takayuki. She has been doing this like engraving work for quite some times now, and she's been developing her skills into the level that nobody has ever reached. Basically, it's got really intricate design. She was using like so many different chisels to cut into. She's been using a little bit more like mechanical tools as well, so that it gets a lot of different textures on them and stuff. So we've got this whale, and actually, if you go to the other stores, you will see knives with the different animals like tigers and dragons.
Really?
Yeah. I think we have one with octopus and things like that.
So like what I can say from what I can see from this is art, and it's cool to see the progression of her art, to know that she's transitioning into using different types of tools, experimenting with different techniques, like, and you're right. From the original ones that we saw to what I'm looking at now is incredible. It's really cool. So yeah, I mean, if you want something unique, Jesus, this is cool. All right, so we were talking about some of the really cool stuff on the table. We talked about the koku ends, and the ends from Manakas. What are these two things in front of us?
Okay, so I'm just gonna shuffle these because these two are made by the same guy. This is the so these two are made by the blacksmith called the Shoichi Hashimoto. He is an incredible blacksmith. He's been he called himself a Damascus steel artist for the longest time.
Really? Okay.
I've seen his say metal objects that he made, and it's incredible, right? Like the way in which he forges and folds and shows that Damascus is great. In the last 10 years or so, he started making kitchen knives with the technique that he's developed over years. So that one is made out of the blue number 2 and white number 2, folded together and made a layer and make it he calls it coreless Damascus. There is no warikomi or the core steel into it. It's I don't know if the camera captures this beauty, but it's incredibly beautiful knife. And not only that, it's a functional piece of the art. It's so thin behind the edge, it's so nicely tapered. Like some people make knives and make look pretty and stuff, but this one here is both functionality and the beauty at the highest level.
It is quite incredible. This to me is the most beautiful. It's just this smoky, clean look where you can just see the different types of metal colliding.
So
yeah, he is an artist.
Yeah.
But it's very cool to have a piece of art that you could actually, use.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Hiromune Takaba is a swordsmith in Japan. So each layers of steel, well, like a sword makers do, he folds it and folds it over and over. But this look at a pattern on this one and see how thin this particular knife is.
This knife to me looks like someone just dug out a piece of hardened lava and shaped it into a knife. This thing looks so cool.
It's so cool. We had an opportunity to actually choose from 5 Takada-san's knives, and we get to choose this guy because it was the coolest.
It is the coolest, yeah.
It was the coolest looking.
Okay, let's keep rocking on here.
Yes.
What are these two?
Well, it's something new that we haven't had. So the great thing about garage sale is that we bring knives from someone we've never had the knives before. So this knife is made by a Tamada-san in the Skki. The branding is called Toshitaka. He owns this sharpening workshop in Skki, and he sharpens knives for a lot of very famous Japanese knife retailers, which they can't disclose the name to.
Top secret business
top
secrets.
secret business, but.
So Toshitaka is a brand from a house brand from a company that does a lot of contract work for big names.
Exactly.
Awesome.
He's one of those smaller companies making parts for say Toyota and stuff.
Sure.
Car
So what kind of steel are we working with
So
here?
these are from the made with SG2.
Oh, really?
SG2 carbon steel.
Okay.
It's really nice. What makes his knife so incredible is that the taper from the spine to the edge and how thin behind the edge is. These are one of the best probably knives with the really nice balance. It's not too thin. It's got but it's got a really beautiful taper. When you cut yams with those, it's gonna glide so nice.
Yeah, beautiful taper, really nice sort of texture to the surface, right? Getting a beautiful SG2 knife that's like that thin, in around $400 mark, that's a really good knife. That's beautiful. I can't wait to get to try one. I already opened this, it doesn't just fall off.
Yeah.
So here's something very fun that we got, because it's Christmas time. And sometimes at Christmas, you need to find something cool and unique. And this is cool and unique. So tell us about It's My Knife.
It's my life, it's now or never.
So this knife company in the Miki. They make incredible knives, but we found this company who makes this knife making kit. So it comes with blade, a blade that's been sharpened, and handles and rivets that you can make your own handle shapes. You can even color it, or you can just like varnish it and stuff. The blade is made with the carbon steel core and stainless clad on the outside, so it takes incredible edge and it's easier to take care of. It comes with the proper instruction on how to make it. This wood is pretty easy to carve down with. It's just a shape, so you can carve the bevels down, or you can just make notches
shape
maybe
it to fit your hand
yeah,
or
exactly.
whatever.
So like it's really customizable.
That's cool.
That end, you can paint it. You can probably put things on top.
So it looks like we've got a couple. We've got a nice little fixed blade knife. We've got a folding knife, and yeah, it's a kit. You have to assemble it. You have to finish the work. You have to put it together and carve the handle a little bit. And sometimes at Christmas you want something to just like spend some time doing, and helps you relax and unwind. And I mean, doing stuff like this to me sounds super fun. So I'm really excited. Hint, hint, anyone buying me a Christmas present, like, this is a good idea. Cool, so this is the Kibori?
It's my knife.
It's my knife.
It's really cool. Like the concept itself is really cool.
We have Canadian-made knives.
We have something super, I guess, cool from makers in Canada.
Check this out.
So who is it made by?
HT, Hudson Torrens. Hudson's a guy who is here in Calgary. He's a Canadian kid. He's been learning to make knives. We've seen a few things from him, and day after day, this guy gets better at what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's really impressive to watch him grow and learn. Wow, that's super sharp. So our man Hudson, he's in his early 20s. He's been coming into the shop for 4 or 5 years to get hints and tips. He's been working with another guy we know named Chris Green, and he has been so inspired by Japanese kitchen knives that that's what he's focusing on making, and he's doing a really excellent job. Oh, so I've just heard he's using 52-100 steel. And when we talk about handmade, like, this guy is in a one-car garage in an alley with a hammer and a forge. He's got some good grinding machines. He's buying some stuff as he can, but he's hitting this with a sledgehammer and his arm. That's how he's making this stuff. And I just think there's a really bright future for this young guy to do Canadian-made, Japanese-inspired kitchen knives. I think he's doing a great job.
Yeah, so look at how like it's got really nice distal taper.
Yeah.
From here to the tip. The bevels are really nice and even.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see him. So happy to see some of these at the garage sale too.
We had the.
We got a couple of other big beasts over here.
Well, let's talk about the
Oh, did you see what I just uncovered? Okay, let's talk about those first.
Well, those you can do that. So this here, and along with these, that one is called a CCK. We can call it tank.
Like a collaboration, a special request from our friend Shiba of the people at CCK.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's got a cool tip to it. It's really nice and thin. CCK cleaver is really reliable.
So CCK, if you don't know, is a company from Hong Kong, and they make traditional Chinese cleavers. We sell a bunch of them. They're really quite awesome. And so Shibata-san decided to give them a shout and say, hey, could you recreate my version of tank in your Chukabojos, which is what they've done, and it's very cool. It's very cool. That tip, like, I want to bust a shallot with that thing. Like, it's very nice and thin. It's not that traditional Chinese cleaver that you would want to cut through a bunch of bones and a chicken and some shells and use it like a cleaver and then hope to cut a bunch of ginger. I think this would be more on the side of like really nicely slicing green onions.
Absolutely. Well, we actually have two different sizes. So it comes with the two different sizes. Talking about Shibata-san, he came up with the new shapes on the kotetsu. So one is this. I think it's limited run. This one's AS Gummy Super stainless clad Nakiri. But look at the tiny little cutoff on the tip right there. It just like shows that's still a kotetsu. Yeah. Right? It's like
oh, what?
Right. Nice or inspired by the this battleship, right?
The micro K-tip.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And the other one, this one here is he calls it the Boss Bunka.
Boss Bunka, well, no doubt. Look at how tall this is.
I believe that the length of the blade is just over 210, I think 215 or 225 millimeters long. So much taller. It's got a little bit more rock to it. It's gonna be incredible.
I got a lot of time for this knife. I got a lot of time. I feel like this knife would plow, right? If you're cutting a bunch of stuff, making soup, whatever, needed a lot of knife work, this thing would make it easy. It's just the right size. I really love a good 240. That's a knife that you can really do everything, but you've got some height on this blade that would give you that sort of mass that just like travels through the food without resistance. Like, that's hot.
That's hot.
So this is, they're both Origami Super?
No, this one is
Super.
Origami Super. This is our SG2.
Boss Bunka is SG2.
Yeah.
The Nakiri with the micro K-tip is
Micro
Origami
K-tip.
Super stainless clad.
Yes.
Amazing, amazing. And the wood is really nice. This looks like it's that Jarrah wood on the
it's
handle,
Jarrah
which is,
wood, yeah.
which is a little known fact. There's a street in London paved with Jarrah wood. Yeah, we got this monster Takeda. What is this, Mega Nakiri?
There's a Takeda Chinese cleaver, Chikabocho we got. It doesn't have a handle yet. We're still waiting on a handle to come, but it's incredible. It's like super big.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Look at this thing.
Huge.
And it's dimpled like a golf ball. Can you see that in the light?
Spine is not as thin as the other Takeda knives. You know, he still calls it Chinese cleaver, Chikabocho, but edge is really nice and thin though. It's the so I wouldn't do any of the bone, like chopping down the bone type of stuff with that particular knife, but it's incredible. It's got a really nice weight to it, so if you're just doing a lot of regular chopping with
It's obscene. It's huge.
Yeah.
That is so much steel. You've got a box.
Yeah, I've got a box.
Coming to garage sale near you, a box.
Yeah, this is kind of really cool knife that we got. It's numbered.
49 of 50. Yeah. Oh
So
my
inside the
goodness.
box, it comes to this like super cool box in the box made with the wood and opens like this. So this one here is a limited edition version from a knife maker, Makasta Zanmai. We have ProFlame from them. It's really nicely made. They produce really, really well-made knives out of Skki. They have been doing this a limited run. They produce 50 at a time. It comes with a set of actually 4 knives in here. Inspired by this protected mythical animals in China. This is their 4th edition. We skipped 1 and 3, but we finally get to have a chance to see it.
Whoa.
So this series is called the Genbu. Genbu is
Oh
this
my goodness.
mythical turtle that protects the south. So the blade is made out of the Coral S Damascus of VG2 and VG10. Then they laminated another steel on top of it and put this crazy turtle-looking shell tsuchime pattern on top. Handle is the inspired by this mythical turtle, so it's got look at this detail.
A knife inspired by a mythical turtle.
So it comes with the set of 4, comes in this beautiful box. Only 50 are made to exist.
Makasta Zanmai limited edition inspired by a mythical turtle that protects the south.
Only set of 4, but it comes with super cool box with the 4 knives, the 2, the Peri, Santoku, I believe 210 and 240.
That's incredible. Amazing. I think we've covered almost everything. We have one last thing we haven't talked about, which is a very cool knife from our friend Daniel down in the south, not protected by turtles particularly, but his name is Daniel, and Daniel makes Silverthorn knives. We've been carrying Daniel's fillet knives and boning knives for a little bit, and we've got this one here, which is an addition, which is this extra long filleting knife. He's using 01 steel, which produces a really tough edge, and it's got a little bit of a flex to it, not something we find very often in our selection, and he just makes really wicked knives. We get them nice and sharp for you, and you're cleaning a big piece of meat and you're trying to get the silver skin off, you're trying to butcher something, What a great knife. Also, I think this would do a really good job on a piece of fish that you've caught.
Taoka-san, the single bevel knife maker out of the Takefu.
It's got a fish scaler.
Yeah, exactly. It's made out of the VG10 and it's got a fish scaler on it. It's a knife that you can actually bring on a board.
I was just gonna say, this would be wicked on a boat.
Yeah, it's not gonna rust. You could just like do the older filleting on the boat. This is not all that we are going to have.
Well, this is just a little sneak peek.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want a full scale, full lineup, tune in to our YouTube live on this Friday, November 1st at noon Mountain Time.
Awesome. So 7:45 on Monday, November the 4th, we'll be live on our YouTube channel. The sale will start at 8 a.m. and it will run right until the Sunday the 10th.
This live stream event on the first day garage sale is going to be a little bit different and very special. We'll have a special guest coming from Japan.
Who's that Pokemon?
Who will be doing some cool demo on maybe, forging, maybe. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be very special live stream. So
Most of the time we do our live stream and it's really great to be there first thing in the morning and then we just like drag it out for a while. This afternoon, the Monday afternoon, we actually have something worthwhile checking back for. Come back and check us out Monday afternoon. Where do we have stores?
Yeah,
I think there's
right.
one in Toronto
Yeah.
in Canada, and there's one in Ottawa in Canada. There's one in Edmonton, which is also in Canada, Calgary and Vancouver, both of those places in Canada. We will have really cool stuff at the stores. Each store has a few things that they've kept around for the last little while, whether it's a sample knife that they've refurbished and they've put up for sale. There's great deals in stores. Make sure to check out your local Knifewear if you can. Thank you for all your support over the years, and we look forward to bringing you another great kick-ass garage sale.